Starbucks card. Whoever catches it. Starbucks card.
Don't ask me.
Welcome.
Reading anything.
Can't even
If you are
read.
the meeting,
Just pretending, Rocky. This is all pretend.
You do a good job pretending.
That you do.
It says artificial intelligent voice.
That's right.
Lip syncing.
So are we trying to find misspelled things?
Not spelled correctly. It's just not.
Got one, all the proper letters are in here, but they're not in the right arrangement.
Drapes sure look nice.
Approval of warrant registers, weekly and payroll rosters.
Just have one this evening, Mr. Chairman. I move for approval of fund expenditures in the amount of $807,356.72, and it's been signed by 2 members of the Auditor's Office and the County Administrator.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Public comment. Is there anyone in the room for public comment? If so, please come forward, state your name, and you have 3 minutes. Hearing, seeing none. Approval of consent agenda.
Mr. Chairman, I move for the approval of the one item on the consent agenda.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes unanimously. Moving on to regular business, contract HAPO Center ICE Agreement presented by Eric Johnson, County Administrator.
Thank you, Chairman. There are 3 items for your consideration here. The 2 of those are ICE rental agreements that you've been earlier briefed on. Those 2 ICE agreements are between the county and the Adult Hockey Club. The second one is between, for lack of, the Tri-Cities Amateur Hockey Association, which is the Youth Hockey League in Franklin County. And those set forth terms of agreement for their use of ice time and over the next 2-year period. The third element of this is the amendment to the HAPO Center Management and Operations Service Agreement that you have with HWL Properties. And this would provide for $5,000 a month additional to their current agreement for their management responsibility and taking over management and oversight of not just these agreements, but potentially other uses, including possibly public time in the future and public ice skating in the future as well. So with that, would recommend approval of those. You can take them individually by motion, the amendment to the HAPO Center Management Operations Service Agreement. And then you can do the ice rental agreement with the Tri-Cities Adult Hockey Club. And thirdly, you can do the inter-ice rental agreement with the Tri-Cities Amateur Hockey Association. So if anyone would like to do, and if you have anything you'd like to add, those have all been reviewed by council as well.
They don't need any numbers by them?
I think we can do it by your motion.
Okay.
Individually.
Yep, be great.
So before, excuse me, Mr. Chairman, I just had a comment. I just wanted to say that before we address this, I just wanted to say that I've been watching behind the scenes the effort that has gone into this and wanted to say thank you to our administrator, to the PA, and to HWL for the hard work that's happened here. There is untold hours attached to all the efforts that it took to put these together. And so, yeah, thank you.
Likewise.
With that, I will entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I would move for approval of the amendment to the HAPO Center Management and Operations Services Agreement as presented to us.
I second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Motion passes unanimously.
So, Mr. Chairman, I would move for approval of the ice rental agreement between Franklin County, the HAPO Ice Pavilion, and the Tri-Cities Amateur Hockey Association, known as TACAHA, as presented.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Motion passes.
And a third one, Mr. Chairman, I would move for approval of the ice rental agreement between Franklin County and the HJRBR partners doing business as the Tri-City Adult Hockey Club, as presented to us.
I second.
Motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes.
Commissioner Teresa has the originals. You don't need to worry about
Oh,
those.
all right. Thank you.
Oh, they're down here, the originals? Oh, right there.
Yeah, they're
Gotcha.
over there.
Moving on to Commissioner Administrator updates.
I believe we have one more bid
Yep.
opening.
Not
Oh,
yet.
I'm sorry. Bid opening, Justice Center for Fire Panel, presented by Jennifer Wagner, Director. Good evening.
We have two bids that were received in the Commissioner's office. The facilities advertised on the website and the Franklin County Graphic on October 24th and the 31st. We had a walkthrough on November 6th, and we had two vendors attend at that time. After opening the bids and stating the estimates, we'll more than likely come back to the board December 12th with a award resolution at that time. It'll probably take us a little longer to get a contract going, so,
Okay. So at this time, I'll open the bids.
correct.
Moon Security.
Last page.
It's never on the front page.
Oh, last page either. There it is.
Total amount of the bid is $278,448.16. Bid proposal by Camtech. Total proposal amount, excuse me, total proposal amount is $227,504.79. Are we obligated to take the lowest bid, or?
Yeah, we'll
We're-
review.
We're
Yeah.
not, we're not obligated to do anything at this point. We're
Right.
going to take them back and review both of the bids.
All right. So at that point, we have the two bids, so. Thank you. All right, moving on to Commissioner Administrator updates. Eric Johnson.
Yeah, let me give you a quick snapshot of a few things. I think you all have heard that Josh Cuevas, our interim manager for public defense, will be leaving Franklin County in December. He'll be headed to Benton County. I met with him briefly this morning, started to talk about some transition components, some alternatives for another interim manager. As you recall in the budget, we do have a permanent manager funded now, and so we'll probably find an interim solution, and then once their budget is adopted, we'll proceed with the recruitment for a permanent manager. I really appreciate Josh stepping in during this interim role. He's done really a good job. I really appreciate the work that he has done in stabilizing the contract management, as well as carrying a caseload as well. So thanks to Josh. Obviously, we've spent a lot of time together on the budget, so it's taken a fair amount of my out of meeting time, as well as working with Tim Anderson and others in the offices and departments around working through the budget. Thanks very much for that. I do want to remind you the discussion that we had this morning about budget meetings. We'll have one more next Wednesday where we'll have a preliminary budget for you. Then starting at 9 a.m. on Monday, December 2nd, we'll start the process of having you look at resolutions and a number of adoptions. And there's both tax levy rate discussions to have, and for just not ourselves, but other jurisdictions that have to submit their assessed levies to you for authorization. And then I would say the other piece that I want to call your attention to is that after December 2nd, we really do plan to meet that at 9 o'clock each of those following meetings. You might recess on Monday, come back at 9 a.m. on Tuesday. There's a possibility if it's something quick that we can turn around, we might just recess for a longer period of time that day and come back. We'll just be flexible with your calendars. But at the very least, I would encourage you to think about being here or just where you want to be at 9 a.m. Every day during that week. And then I do want to remind folks that December 25th and January 1st are both Wednesdays, so we do not plan to have meetings on those dates of either December 21st or December 25th or January 1st, or any meetings during those 2 weeks. So at this point, we would not have the first meeting then until I think it's January 8th on the calendar. So please put those on your calendars and note that, and make sure that if you're hearing from any of the departments or offices that they really do need to focus getting their business done prior to that. So because we do have a 2-week period of time where we will not be in session. So the 18th of December could be a busy meeting as well. Let's see, HAPO, really thank Mike for being here tonight. Mike Carl's doing a great job, and I meet with him once a week, and we really go through some of the key performance indicators, the goals, objectives that are set forth in the contract. We've got quarterly meetings that are a little more formalized because we take more accurate notes to be able to report on those. And then secondarily, we have they'll be proceeding on the repair and replacement projects like carpet, painting, restroom updates, things that were presented to the advisory board, about a month ago, I think it was, somewhere in that vicinity, a couple weeks ago. And so they're starting to get the bids for those projects, and we'll start working on those. We had the Historic Preservation Committee that the auditor, the treasurer, and I, as well as 2 citizens, serve on for you. There is funding that is available for projects here in the community that really illustrate the historic nature and can demonstrate that, educate about it. They will be doing solicit for applications for those funds sometime in mid-2025, so that group is up and running. We have reinitiated the recruitment for the office assistant position. As you know, we're holding one of the positions at bay right now, so we're going to recruit for the office assistant position and get that underway and have that hopefully fairly soon. It's just one more thing that Teresa and I will be kind of plowing through applications to start interviews in fairly soon as well. So I think the other 2 things, just to let you know, the RFP for the county administrator recruitment closes Monday the 25th. We have 2 in, and we've received inquiries from 2 others. So we will then do a quick selection of the firm in just with a smaller committee, myself, HR director, probably one other person, and we'll do a quick evaluation, bring a firm for you to consider, and get them going. And we are working on an employment agreement extension for myself through February 29th at this point. So,
Go ahead, 2027.
of 2025.
I'll adjust the number on the paper.
I'll read it more carefully before I sign it. So, yeah.
All right.
All right, so that's what I've got.
Thank you. Commissioner Bauman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. In this last week, had the regular Ben Franklin Transit Board meeting, and appreciate the key performance indicators the staff brought to describe what ridership has looked like, and they really brought back some good information in the last year. The ridership has certainly increased, and the ridership is now at 300,000 rides. The ridership to the fair increased significantly. I think it was up 14%, if I remember right. I meant to bring the paper to share, but I forgot that. But then also had a Franklin County cybersecurity meeting with IS and a number of other departments. A WASAC meeting with the Commissioner of Public Lands, and the discussion topic was about using state trust lands. The legislature passed a bill allowing for the use of some trust lands in certain instances for affordable housing. And so right now the why am I forgetting the name? Commissioner of Public Lands, what's that office? Yeah, but what's that office called?
Lands Commissioner.
The Lands Commissioner, but what's the department called? Department of Natural Resources, thank you. They are considering 3 sites, and one of those sites is here in Pasco. It would be the ground to the west of the Lowe's Center. There's a portion that there's a lot there, and then there's a area that they're planning to put an overpass across the freeway, and then to the west of where that overpass is, they're considering that site as one of the sites that the Department of Natural Resources would make available for some affordable housing. City of Pasco Council meeting, had a pretty lengthy meeting with a concerned citizen, and And subsequently, that led to a meeting with our assessor and myself, and met with them, and believe we made some significant headway with their concerns. Also had another WASAC meeting with the Legislative Steering Committee about the priorities going into this next legislative session. Had a really a fun meeting today. This is probably kind of odd to say, but I really enjoyed it. A meeting with a lot of the different departments around the courthouse about public records and the way that of kind of bringing that process together. So I really want to thank Gray and Eric and Jeff, your department, for all the hard work that went in to prepare for that meeting, and it was really fun. I think that we had 33 or 34 people there, and had lunch together and talked about the way that the different departments can work together to more efficiently and effectively provide public records to the public that request them. And so thank you for everybody for their diligence and help with that. Then we had budget workshops this afternoon, and I missed the CCOM task force meeting that I would typically be at. And then after our budget workshops this afternoon, had a meeting with Tri-City National Parks Service. There's a transition of leadership with the Parks Service and some of the work that they're doing. They are in the process of preparing to do a kind of a remodel on the B reactor. They're going to replace the roof and do some work out there, so that the B reactor and the tours available there will be shut down for a pretty significant period of time while they do some extensive restoration work. The roof that is there is the original, and they're not sure what they're going to get into when they start opening it up, so they are planning for potentially a period of 2 years where the B reactor's tours will be closed, and they are impressed with all of the interest that they have gotten with the Manhattan Project National Park, and it was an enlightening meeting. And then the last thing, I just wanted to say thank you to Josh for running the OPD in an interim basis, and I think we should just pass a motion that he can't leave. I think that'd probably be a good solution, maybe, see if we can talk him into that. So that's my report, Mr. Chairman.
All right, thank you. Commissioner Didier?
Yeah, so I sit on the Ben Franklin Transit Board also, and the ridership is up, but I asked the question, if somebody gets on at a bus stop, they go to another spot, and they get off, and they get on a second bus, they are counted as 2 riders. So if somebody was to get on 4 to 5 buses a day, he's counted as 5 riders. They also, there was a motion to pass for the poor and the infirmed, and I'm all for giving them rides, but I said infirm, that means could be mentally unstable, and that's drug addiction. I asked them about what are we doing to be proactive to make sure that our bus drivers and the other riders aren't introduced to any dangerous chemicals like fentanyl. They said they can't deny a ridership to anybody. So our former general manager warned us of what happened in Portland. And when the dangerous drugs become evident, they got to stop the bus. Everybody's got to get off. They got to bring another bus. They got to fumigate that bus. And then there's lawsuits. So it's getting to be the same situation Portland was facing. Ben Franklin Council of Governments, and there was a presentation on crossings across the river, and they are now considering going back and readdressing another crossing further north. Maybe it was mentioned self-landing to Horn Rapids, which would be the crossing that we would need to help alleviate the I-82 traffic, getting people over and back from Hanford. I got a phone call from that same concerned citizen, and I waited till the next day and I called him up and I talked to him, and he was pretty excited about what he went through. And these people are our bosses, and they shouldn't be treated like this. So I'm telling you right now, as a county, we need to do better for our bosses, and that's every taxpayer out there. And then I ran out to the Happel Center today and just sort of looked at some of their new improvements, and boy, I tell you what, the drapes look incredibly good out there in that room. And really looking better. It's the whole facility looks better. And if you need help with those stones on the front, I know a guy that can help you put those back up and get them done. So that's the end of my report.
So this week I had the Chamber of Commerce meeting with the Pasco Chamber. Had the Budget Review Committee yesterday, and then, of course, the Budget Budget workshops today. What came out of those meetings basically is we have basically unprecedented interest rates that we've taken advantage of over the past couple of years. That's great news, but just not a reliable source of income for the county as it's so flexible. So, and that concludes my report for this week. Moving on to administrative office business, is there any today? Public comment, is there anyone in the room for public comment? If so, please come forward, 3 minutes. Seeing, hearing none, is there any need for executive session?
Yeah, excuse me. Yes, under RCW 4230-110, 1I, potential litigation, we'll need approximately 10 minutes. And myself, the board, and the clerk of the board can stay as well.
All right. So at this point, we'll go into executive session for approximately 10 minutes. The time is 7:26, and after that, we will adjourn. So thank you. Have a good night.
Eric, there's only 2 signatures on this, and we passed 3 items. Their agreement.
Yeah, the one was just.
So we've come out of executive session with no decisions being made. Is there any further business for the good of the county? Hearing none, this meeting is adjourned.